a playlist original.
What's up, superhero fans? Welcome back to SUPES Disputes, the show where I sit down with producer, talent manager, industry insider, and mega fan Brad Lambert, and we talk about the hottest superhero news and debate the most divisive superhero topics. Here joining us once again is my co-host, partner Twitch streamer, host over there at comicbooknation.comicbook.com, Janell Wheeler. Janell, we got a big show ahead of us.
We do.
Lead us off into the sunset. Let's go.
I love this episode that we're going to have here because we are deep diving and we haven't really had the opportunity to super deep dive some really hot topics. So that is what we are going to do today. Ready yourself, you guys. We are kicking it off with WandaVision. We have to get excited about this. We have 3 episodes left. We are going to dissect this one in full. So the first question is, generally speaking, what are your thoughts on episode 6, Brad?
It has teed it up for one epic finale with these last 3 episodes. When she expanded the hex, I literally watched the rest of the episode like this. I just like, it was insane.
If you're listening on Apple, he had his hands on his head.
Yeah, I had my hands on my head, just completely mind blown because it was such a thrilling experience to see the hex grow. You didn't know when it was going to stop. And also everyone was fleeing. You know, Hayward was in his vehicle with his team. And
I wanted him to get gobbled up so
me
badly.
Too. But and then just the everything that means moving forward now. I mean, she is in control more than I think anyone realizes. But I do think there is a hierarchy here and someone is still pulling the strings. But yeah, I mean, some elements, it was a very revealing episode, not super exciting until the very end. But yeah, I mean, they've done a miraculous job pacing this series where some episodes are very intense. Other episodes are all story driven. But I mean, you can't really complain when it comes to that because they're pacing it for a certain reason. If they want to tiptoe into the final 3 episodes that are going to be insane, I am all for it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm very excited about this and these details that you're talking about. Don't worry, guys. We are about to go in on those, but let's get the general idea of what you thought about it. Matt, let's hear it.
So, to be honest, I've been a huge fan of the show from beginning to end. However, this week, to be honest, again, I understand that they're pacing the show a certain way. I understand that each episode is, jam-packed with a certain content for a reason. And it's all building up to these final 3 episodes, which is why I'm so excited for what's to come. But we'll get into talking about that soon enough. However, this episode, I didn't feel like it was enough. By the end of it, the credits rolled and I was like, I have to wait another 7 days. No,
I mean, that's the worst always, but especially in this episode.
Yeah.
That's by design, guys.
Yeah, it was
like,
great.
That is by design.
No, I know it. I know it's by design, but like coming off of like something like episode 5, like we finished episode 5 and I felt so much more satisfied that week seeing like Wanda come out of the hex, seeing, the Evan Peters reveal. Like I felt like they fed us way more that week with that episode than this week. But yeah, I loved everything I saw. I didn't think it was enough, And
I love that. I love that because the name of this show is SUPES Disputes. Let's go.
Disputes.
I completely disagree with you. Could not disagree with you more. And this is why. We can't keep looking ahead. We have to live in the moment, right? We have to appreciate every episode for what it is. Like we need to all take an collectively, which is a yoga term, and live in the moment. Yes, I'm making references to Doctor Strange right now. I always will. He is like so spiritual and wonderful on his own little thing. Speaking of Doctor Strange, I might have seen him in this episode. Okay, so I really, truly loved this episode because I think it hits all of the key points that it needs to hit. I literally took notes, guys. Was there story progression? Yes. Was there character development? Absolutely. We need these to understand who do we dislike, who do we like? And that's what I felt like I was getting in this episode, more of that. I understand that that's a little less like exciting, but I need to understand these characters more, especially for our friends who don't have a background in Marvel, in the comics or the movies. Like if you're picking this show up, you don't know who's a good guy and a bad guy. And everyone kind of seems like a bad guy that's not in the bubble at this point. And you're Team Wanda because she's the heroine of the show right now. So I totally loved this. There was action for all of our action fans. And the most important part of a TV show, because remember, we're spoiled, Marvel peeps. We are used to movies. You have to have a cliffhanger. And we have to appreciate it for what it is, which is a TV show. They know what they're doing. And just the comic book references alone to all of these costumes and all these call tos the comics, I was like madly in love. Just so excited. So there's our dispute for the
and it's hard to disagree with that. I mean,
Yeah.
I of course wanted more. I was pissed when the credits came up because I was like, right there, that's when you cut it off, right after she expanded the hex. Like, what the heck? Like, I get that. But like you were saying, Janelle, like they moved the story ahead. They gave specific details on certain characters. Like we saw more of Hayward. I think everybody
We need
collectively
to.
hates him now.
Right.
Like he's an ass.
Yeah.
We know Monica and Jimmy Woo are heading out to meet her mysterious aerospace engineer.
Contact.
Exactly. So I think there's a lot of things that have been set up in this episode that will once again, all the dominoes are about to fall in these last three. So yeah, of course I wanted more, but do I think it was a bad episode? Not at all. But I am very, very, very excited now heading into Friday.
Absolutely. And I'm so glad you brought that up about Monica's contact because we are going to hit that. But I think general consensus is like we are the three bears and too much, too little, not enough. I feel like we're covering all of our bases.
I get it. Yeah.
In general, we all love the show. We just have to be hypercritical because that's that's why we're doing this podcast.
Yeah.
So I get
they're tormenting us intentionally.
Yeah.
There's no way they were like, oh, that was a whoopsie. We didn't mean to cut it off there. Yeah. Right.
Yo, hey, but heading into these final three episodes, guess what? Brad and I yesterday were sitting down and doing the math. And guess what? These next three episodes are going to be a lot longer than what we've gotten so far. The showrunner, the director of the show said that the show in total is 6 hours long. As of right now, we've seen around 215 minutes of content, I believe, and that's including the credits. So that means we still have around 145 minutes left of content, including the credits, and 145 divided by 3. That goes to tell us that there's probably going to be around, each episode will probably be around 48 minutes within these final three episodes.
That's so exciting.
48 minutes per episode. That's longer than any episode we've gotten so far. So
absolutely.
I'm hyped.
I love it. So here's the next question then. I'm hoping that we find out who this engineer, who this contact is of Monica's. And I'm wondering your thoughts on who that could be. There's a lot of things flying around. Who are you mostly thinking it's going to be, Brad?
I mean, I think they could go big with a Reed Richards introduction, which would just be iconic. He doesn't have to be, Mr. Fantastic yet. I think it would be cool to have just a regular introduction to the character, like we saw with Hawkeye and Thor. He was just a shield agent. He wasn't anybody crazy. He had his bow and everyone's like, oh my gosh, that's Clint Barton. So I think it would be really cool to introduce him in that way and obviously tee him up for possible involvement in every other Disney Plus show or other appearances in the MCU films. So I would love Reed Richards, and I think everybody out there wants that to be the case.
Right.
They could go the route of Clint Barton. It could be him. He could show up with Coulson. I mean, Rhodey. I mean, there are so many options here. But I mean, I think they've just teased it so much and set it up to where Reed Richards makes the most sense. And I think it would be a clever way to kind of step in that direction of the Fantastic Four. Am I 100% certain that he's the one? No, but I would love it to be the case. And, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's Hawkeye and a few shield agents. He didn't necessarily build the vehicle, but he's delivering it.
He has
obviously.
The contacts too, right?
Yeah. And he also has the tie to Wanda. So if he heard that a scientist or aerospace engineer was building this vehicle, he's like, I'm delivering it. You stay here. I want to try to help Wanda.
True.
Like that would make sense too. So
it's one thing to build it. It's another to actually have to go into the hex,
Correct.
which, we do know a lot of these engineers probably wouldn't willingly step up to that. That's a really good point.
Correct. So I don't know if we'll get like the full Fantastic Four team showing up. I think that would be a bit much and take away from the uniqueness of this show, overshadow it, if you will. But I think introducing Reed Richards would be just the taste that we're looking for the Fantastic Four moving forward.
Yeah, I love that. Matt, what are your thoughts? Who do you think it could be?
So I think it could be one of two people. First is the side I'm leaning more to every single day, and that's Reed Richards. We're in the final 3 episodes.
Yeah.
The hex is expanding more and more every single second, and it's time for Avengers to show up. It's time for starters to show up in the MCU. And guess what? Whether you like it or not, Reed Richards is going to be one of the faces of the Marvel Cinematic Universe once he's introduced. This is one of the biggest Marvel characters of all time. And with Tony Stark absent, Steve Rogers, Captain America absent, they're going to make this character one of the faces of the MCU.
Yes.
Easily.
Let's go.
Let's go.
That's exciting.
And another thing, too, is that when we talk about the casting of John Krasinski playing this character, this is a completely new take on the character. But guess what? If we saw John Krasinski in the episode, this is the most popular fan cast of all time. We would know that he's freaking Reed Richards.
Oh, yeah.
Because we've already grown to love John Krasinski as Reed Richards, and the man hasn't even played him for a second on the damn screen. So
they've just teed it up to be somebody.
Yeah, man.
And I feel like if it's not a Reed Richards type drop like that, it's going to be a massive letdown.
I agree. And, like when this first started dropping, like this was introduced, is it 2 episodes ago when she mentioned? When
yeah,
she sent
the engineer.
Text? I really thought we were going to get it last episode, by the way. I was shocked. I totally thought, okay, there's been many leaks about it has to be a female character because if you had the subtitles on, it was a feminine context that it was written out in a foreign language. That is how detailed these Marvel sleuths are. And bless you guys for doing that. But I was thinking, okay, the Skrull who was friends with Monica Rambeau as a child during the Captain Marvel movie, for me, like if it was revealed right away, that would have been more likely. I feel like they wouldn't hold on to that for 2 whole episodes.
Yeah.
I'm still kind of circling back to my Ant-Man theory. I said this before. I could totally see. It looks like the little, I don't know, vehicle that they use in the quantum realm. So I could totally see one of the women I'm just trying to think of women that could fill this role if it is indeed feminine. And then I even heard some people saying Jane Foster because we know she's coming. And she has
that's how she gets cancer. I'm done.
That's what I'm saying though, right? I mean, that could be a really cool.
Look at Matt.
Cool. I know. It could be something really awesome too. So because of that feminine thing, that's why I've been deep diving and like really trying to break that down. Obviously, I think what you guys are talking about is the most rewarding and exciting moment that I think the fans really want. But if it is indeed a female character, of course, we have Wakanda there as well. Like I feel like that's a really obvious answer.
Yeah.
And that would actually work with the Hawkeye theory because she could have built it. And then he could bring it in for her also that tie to what it's made of and what, Vision's body is made of. Like it could all kind of
intertwine
bow, but there's so many different theories out that I am having a hard time really committing to any of them in my mind. And I also don't want to get my hopes up.
Yeah. And that was one of the biggest takeaways from this last episode. I feel like the entire purpose of this last episode was to get all of our theories and just light them on fire. Like literally, that's what I felt like this last episode was for. Because there was just so many different theories that got destroyed with this previous episode. And now we're going into next week's episode and we don't even know where they're taking the show from here on out. Like, I mean, honestly.
Speaking of theories, here we go. Next topic. We are deep diving WandaVision. Quicksilver. Quicksilver was definitely if you play Among Us, suspect in this episode. And I think I feel like this was the most clear thing for me out of this entire episode is my thoughts on Quicksilver. But before I give them, I want to hear your opinion, Brad.
Yeah, he's definitely more sus than he was initially, and he was pretty sus showing up then as it was. So, between the things he said, the questions he asked, how he was pushing Wanda's buttons, and also kind of messing with Vision at the same time, yeah, I feel like he's not there for the right reasons. I definitely think he's there to stir the pot, like he said, cause trouble, but also give Wanda grief, which he flat out said. So, I mean, I feel like he is a ploy, some way, shape, or form, to a Mephisto or to a Nightmare, or Agnes. You know, who knows? But yeah, I don't think it is who he says he is. Let's put it that way.
Right. Matt?
Yeah, I agree. I agree. You know, after watching this episode, I really warmed up to Quicksilver. Like, despite a lot of people thinking he was sus, yeah, he fit right in. Like, Evan Peters came back to this character, and even though he was kind of like very different personality-wise than how he is in like the Fox X-Men movies, I really enjoyed him in this portrayal of Quicksilver, interacting with the kids. Like, he really gave off that like crazy uncle vibes.
Jesse from Full House.
Yeah,
exactly. Like, he fit into that role so perfectly, and I love his dynamic with Wanda in this episode. How they shut with Vision out of the question in this episode. We got a lot of Wanda and Quicksilver having like actual deep conversation. And for a second, she looked at Quicksilver and it was his dead body. And again, there's some serious questions that need to be answered with Quicksilver, because why is he interrogating Wanda? Like, why is he interested in getting answers from her? Who is he working for? Again, I was already sus of him when he first showed up, because I don't think he is of Wanda's creation. I think he is of someone else, whether it's Mephisto or a Nightmare. But I genuinely liked Evan Peters in this episode. I don't know at this point. I don't know if he's actually just a puppet of Wanda's, because they did kind of say that in this episode, that she created him. And the reason she changed his face was so like that she didn't remember, I guess she didn't get enough grief as she would have if it would have been Aaron Taylor Johnson's version. So
yeah, like you didn't want to see me in that form,
exactly,
because it would upset you. And yeah, that's a really good point as well. Oh my gosh, he's a little trickster. I do like his vibe. I think it's very appropriate for the sitcom era that they chose, the Malcolm in the Middle. It was really interesting. I loved how the kids were speaking to camera.
Yeah.
But I also noticed Quicksilver noticing that. You know, he was very aware of everything. And the few things that I picked up is I personally have no doubt that this is not our Pietro from Ultron, Age of Ultron. I like, there is no doubt in my mind. If that happened, I would be completely shocked. Like,
he's not under her spell.
Right.
He's doing his own thing.
And I think that dead, vision of his body with the gunshot wounds and everything, I truly believe that was just a distraction to stop her from over processing. She's clearly picking up on things. She's starting to recognize. I think whoever this figure is just trying to distract her. He's a distraction. He wants to give her feelings of grief, not just giving her grief, like giving her a hard time. He wants her to grieve and feel bad and get caught up. And I think that he is definitely very smart, and he's 2 steps ahead of her at this point. And it just seems like he's enjoying the ride. He's like a little sneaky.
Yeah, very, very similar to Agnes in this episode, because we obviously got that scene with Agnes and Vision. And when I first watched it, I was just thinking, like, is Agnes under Wanda's spell? But then I went back and I rewatched the episode a couple of times, and I came to the conclusion that there's no way. Like, Agnes was acting.
She was faking it.
She was faking it 1000%. Because when Vision like kind of puts her back in the mind control, she's just like, all right, then I'll be on my way. And then she just kind of like drives she would have been back to like where he found her, which was this frozen state. Yeah. Good call. Yeah, really I definitely think Agnes was acting. And because Agnes and Quicksilver share those similarities in that they're not a part of this mind control, again, sus.
Crazy. Really great job. Honestly, great job in casting, writing. I loved this role in here. Quicksilver is so necessary now that he's here. I'm like, we need him. And I'm very excited. I'm excited to see what's going to go on with him. He's probably the thing that I'm most anticipating in the next episode.
And just the Hex moment where the Hex is expanding. Matt
Mutants,
and I were
baby.
talking about this yesterday.
Mutants, baby.
Yeah, but I think we need to talk about a certain show that's currently filming right now, Miss Marvel. And I asked Matt this yesterday. I said, where does it take place? And what did you say?
New Jersey.
What?
Yeah. So imagine the start of Miss Marvel. The Hex
I
Expanding.
have goosebumps.
Yeah, the Hex takes over her home, her neighborhood, or whatever, and that is how she gets her abilities.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because whether we like it or not, Miss Marvel is going to be the show where they directly address mutants or Inhumans. Because that's what Miss Marvel is. That's what Kamala Khan is. She's an Inhuman, but they could also make her a mutant. Whatever the case may be, they're going to have to address this head on with this show. So I think that is the best way to tie it into WandaVision. It looks
awesome.
That was the biggest takeaway from this episode, that Wanda is creating mutants. She's creating superheroes. The fact that they went back and they focused on, we got that explanation with Darcy where she focused on the effects of the dome on Monica's cells and her DNA. That's going to be the same effect on everyone else, whether it activates their X gene or not. Mutants are being created. That was my biggest takeaway, one of the biggest takeaways from this episode, that Wanda's creating mutants, and now we have this Hex expanding and continuing to expand and engulf more and more people. And I think this is how mutants are going to get created.
Okay, so here's my question, and this is a little off topic, but are we in agreement that she's creating mutants or changing the minds of these living people in the Hex, or are these all dead people? I've heard theories that something happened to this town and this area, and they actually had an accident where all these people might have already been killed, and she brought them back in the same way she brought Vision back. What are your thoughts on that for a hot take?
Ooh. So I think it's tough to say because, again, like this show does such a great job and not giving us too much information. But my initial theory was that they were all dead in this town because, when Monica showed up and talked to the cops, they said that they've never heard of Westview. So, but now after seeing how Wanda's like literally just taking over more and more of just land and it's all converting into her own alternate reality, I think that the people in the town are all alive and she just literally took over the town the same way she took over the sword base and so on and so forth.
My thoughts were like, what if that town was dead? Like if everyone was dead in the town, but any new people that are living that hit the Hex, maybe they turn into mutants. So therefore we don't have as many mutants. Like how would we cast every single person in that town as like, who would they be? Like, that's what I'm thinking. Okay. Who is Norm going to be? Who are all they going to be if they are indeed like mutants?
Yeah. I would not be surprised if it's a mix of both, to be honest. I think, the dead, especially Agnes saying dead, like that was heavy. And I think there was a reason for that, not just to traumatize Vision, but also to kind of say, remember Herb was going to say it a few episodes ago and she was like, stop. So I feel like some may be just trapped and like the woman who was crying, trying to hang up, like that was heavy. That was like a trapped thing. But at the same time, if you want to take a deeper approach, if a soul is trapped and being controlled, that would be, difficult as well. So the dead route, I think, would be super heavy. But like we just mentioned, when the Hex expands, it does engulf living beings like Darcy, like the sword
That's
base.
what I'm so worried about. Like, please don't kill Darcy.
But I think those people could very well become mutants, like Kamala Khan, if that's the route they go.
Yeah, and
the Hex expands, then
Yeah, and the thing is that not everyone in Marvel Comics has like the X gene.
Correct.
True.
So it's not like they would all become mutants. There's only select few that would become mutants.
Yes. Oh my gosh, Janell. Well, that's really interesting. The only other question that is a hot take, I love that you guys, I'm springing these questions on these guys. Where did all the kids come from? It's like
Ooh,
overnight. There is hundreds of
Yeah.
children in this neighborhood.
Yeah.
Where did they come from?
Well, I saw a good theory on New Rockstars about this. It was Halloween.
Yeah.
So raise the dead.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, I don't know about that, but I think that she has kids now. You know, she wants to give her kids the full Halloween experience, and that can't happen if they're the only two kids that
Right.
exist. So I think it was just a matter of, and they kind of mentioned it, like Quicksilver asked, like, so where were all these
Right.
kids? Were they
Where'd
just
you get
sleeping?
these from?
Yeah. So I think she just brought kind of like the kids to life just so her kids can have like that, just that normal experience.
But it wasn't a problem until Vision was like, why are
Where
there
are
no kids here? Where are they? Where are the
She
children?
didn't even think about it.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
she was like, oh shit. So the next episode, now the town is full of children. So
Boom.
I don't know. I don't feel like she had them locked in a room. You know, I
No.
feel like the logical explanation is she created them. She brought them to life.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So
I
then
mean,
in turn, were those more
I
children?
don't necessarily know if that means they're dead, because like Vision is there, Pietro is there, Agnes is there, and I don't think Agnes is dead. So like there's some beings that are in this alternate reality that are actually alive,
Right.
and then there's some that are dead.
100%. And that's what I'm saying. Like the people you just mentioned, they've been in the show from the beginning. The characters that have popped up, they're either been created, whether it be by Wanda or someone else, or they have come in to the Hex. So yeah, it's a mix of both. I'm curious to see if we'll see kids in the next episode.
Yeah.
I think that will tell a lot. But yeah, I mean, once again, this is what's so great about the show is it's constantly making you think.
Yeah.
And the theories change from minute to minute. So yeah, it's going to be exciting to see.
I'm curious to see if we actually ever get that answer to that question. And so that brings us to our next beautiful point. What do you think is happening next in this series? What do we expect next episode, Brad?
As I said early on, I think the dominoes are really going to start to fall next episode. It's clear that Wanda is losing control on multiple levels. I think she's when she was talking about the endless nothingness, I was like, yeesh. And then when she attacked Pietro, deservingly so, and then she immediately expanded the Hex, I was like, okay, yeah, she's out of control. And I think as people continue to stir the pot and manipulate her, it's only a matter of time. So if Jimmy Woo and Monica come in the Hex, or whoever comes in the Hex with Monica, I think stuff's really going to go down. And I would love if this is the episode where Wanda talks to Vision and it's like, this is our home. Well, then let's fight for it. That scene that we've seen in the trailers, I think we'll see the battles in the streets. I don't know who she's fighting. To me, it doesn't make sense for Sword to be who she's fighting because they're not strong enough.
Right.
Like that's not even a fight. That's a waste of time. So for me, somebody of super power has to come. Like Matt said, the starters. Where's Doctor Strange? We think he's in Westview. He's there. I think he's there. When's he going to come out and say hello? Where's Captain Marvel? You know, I would love a Captain Marvel Wanda fight.
She's coming,
I think
bro.
that would be
She's
iconic.
coming.
So like that's what I want to see because nobody else is going to put up a fight with her. So who's she fighting? That's what I want to see.
That's really exciting, Matt. Where do you think the show's going next week?
It's time for cameos to start happening.
Yeah.
It's time for main players to start entering the scene, because last episode literally ended with her engulfing more and more land, and that Hex never stopped. It's still going. This is a multiversal threat right now. This isn't even a global threat. This is a multiversal threat. It's time for Captain Marvel to show up. I don't think she's going to show up next episode, but I think whoever is Monica's contact will be someone big enough to fill in that cameo spot for that episode. And then for episode 8, we'll get another cameo. And then episode 9 is, of course, the Luke Skywalker cameo, which is what I'm guessing. But I think next episode, whoever Monica's contact is, it's going to be a team of people, I believe.
Hey, and an interesting thought here too would be, what if it's Talos? And
Talos.
what if Talos
Yeah,
shows up with Carol?
could be.
What?
That would be really interesting.
Yeah, dude, I
Very
think
powerful.
especially after this episode where they name dropped Captain Marvel one more time.
Yeah.
That's 3 episodes in a row. I think she's showing up for sure. I have her like, I think Strange is a given with this show
Facts.
Good.
because it leads into Spider-Man 3 and Multiverse of Madness. But I have Captain Marvel up there in terms of just my confidence level of her showing up because they've name dropped her in the past 3 episodes. She has a connection with Monica, and she's the only one powerful enough, I guess, to even put up a fight against Wanda. She's going to come. I have no doubt in my mind.
At this point, I'd be disappointed if she didn't.
Yeah.
Because of all the name drops
hype.
and the Easter
Yeah.
eggs and the hype.
Bro, they've
Yeah.
been hyping up that fight. You don't have that conversation with Jimmy Woo and Monica where they're talking about who's the most powerful Avenger, and then not show us
True.
that on
It's
screen.
true.
Did you
That's-
guys ever catch that? Like, Monica doesn't seem surprised about her like X-rays not
Yeah.
showing up. Like, I feel like she already knows that she has the power within her.
No,
in some way.
I don't think she knows that she necessarily has powers. She obviously knows that her cells were altered, right?
Right.
But I don't think she cares. And I love that about her character. That right now her only focus isn't herself, isn't her cells, isn't her how she's affected by all this. Her only focus right now is how do I save Wanda?
I know. And it's not even about the people in the city. And we need that from one
Mhm.
character. We
Yeah.
need someone rooting for Wanda. I feel like poor Wanda, like everybody's hating on her, but I will bring it back to our first episode we recorded. If someone took my partner's body and was experimenting on his dead body, I would lose my stuff. I would go crazy.
Yeah.
I don't blame Wanda one bit.
Yeah, and we're also I think we're gonna get those answers in the next episode because Darcy obviously uncovered some dirt on Hayward, and before she disappeared, she emailed that file to Jimmy Woo. So I think we could potentially see that flashback scene where Wanda invades the Sword Base next episode when Jimmy Woo is uncovering that email, discovering the truth behind Hayward's evil plans behind all of this.
And look,
Yeah.
I think we've all seen the Hayward theory floating around the internet right now about him being Ultron.
Yes, sir.
I haven't seen that.
Because what is it in the cartoons or comics? He takes
Yeah.
on a human form.
Wow.
So I mean, that would explain why he hates Wanda more than anything.
Yeah.
Because Wanda obviously ripped his heart out. And then also why he's obsessed with Vision, because that is the body he's wanted since Age of Ultron. So it would
Yes.
just make so much sense.
Oh,
So
my
that would
gosh.
be a nice curveball if that.
Dude, that would be insanely wild, and that's something they could definitely keep under wraps because it's all voice work from James Spader. But for me, when it comes to that theory, I don't think it's Ultron, and I'm still leaning more to the side that he's just an evil scroll because of the fact that Ultron was the smartest being in the entire MCU at that point in time, right?
Mhm.
Like he knew all of the secrets behind Tony Stark, Jarvis. He knew everything. And Hayward has done some pretty stupid things in this show so far. So knowing how smart Ultron is, I don't think Hayward is Ultron.
Okay, that's a very good point, I think. And I think that honestly, just knowing the previous thing that you told us all, Matt, that you broke this down, you checked out the timestamps, you know how long each episode, just that alone as an expectation for the next episode, just knowing that we're gonna have more
It's a
content,
guarantee.
longer episodes, like that alone. I have it with like asterisk star marks around it in my show notes right now. I'm just so excited that you broke that down. I'm so glad you even thought of that. That is not something that my mind even goes to. So the fact that you did that,
Yeah.
bravo.
Yeah,
there
and,
was
Round of
a-
applause.
and who knows? Next episode could still be kind of like the same 30
Development.
to 40 minutes long, and then the next two are like over an hour.
Yeah.
You know?
That's really awesome because
It's
then
just
it
gonna be
gives you like
crazy.
a movie feel.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
Yeah, and we know Falcon and the Winter Soldier, they're adopting that. It's going to be 6 episodes where it's going to be 40 to 50 minutes long. And those episodes, Aaron Tony described them as mini movies.
Movies, love it.
And I think with these 3 episodes, we're going to see mini movies for
awesome.
WandaVision.
So question, when do you think we're going to actually see who this villain is. Like, when are we going to get the breakdown of what villain we're actually dealing with? Because that's what I'm hoping to get next week, but I am so doubtful, and I feel like we're not going to get it till the final episode.
Yeah, I still don't think we're gonna get it. I still don't think they're not gonna drop or unveil who's the big bad and all of this, because we got to remember, we still have to deal with Agatha Harkness, right? Like, she's been playing this character. Wanda hasn't noticed one bit throughout the entire show. So at some point, Wanda has to kind of like address Agnes head on. And I feel like that's when they're going to duke it out themselves. So if they address or unveil Mephisto or Nightmare or whoever's behind pulling the strings behind the scenes, that'll be like the last episode kind of thing.
Here's a cool theory I had. If our Monica Rambeau engineer does turn out to be the scroll theory and all of that, I really don't think we're going to get that actual engineer reveal until the final episode. Like, I think that if it is a scroll, we are going to have someone enter that we were like, oh, cool, it's this person, maybe not the biggest character. But then maybe on the final episode, there would be some kind of phase where you'd see that it was actually her friend, the scroll, the whole time. I don't think that if it was a scroll, I don't think that it would be common knowledge of everyone knowing that it's a scroll. I think only Monica would know. So that's something that I'm curious to see. Like, I don't know if I'm going to believe that this engineer, this person, this contact is actually whoever they say they are until the show is over. Because you never know with these splits. Like,
and if we really think about it, like, if it's a scroll, if Monica's contact is a scroll, how smart would it be on their end to have this scroll shapeshift into someone who's close to Wanda, like Aaron Taylor Johnson's Pietro, or maybe Chris Evans's Steve Rogers?
Anyone.
Yes.
Anyone, because then that can also slide into our Fury series. And oh my gosh, it could be really cool. So that's what I'm thinking for next episode. My final thought on what I'm hoping for next episode, what I caught during this episode, during a couple of the like breakdowns that I do watch. I try not to see any spoilers, but after the shows, I do watch all of those breakdowns. So if you're out there creating content on these trailer breakdowns, on these episode breakdowns, we love you guys. We support you guys. Thank you for what you do. I saw that there was an indication, and I have to highlight this, of a figure during the trick-or-treating daylight scene that is in the background of a lot of shots. It looks like it is a Halloween decoration. It has a mask.
Yeah, it's like a scarecrow kind of thing.
Man, and it is not moving.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's on a pole, but then they zoomed in real tight and you see legs. And that person is watching and analyzing and taking it in close enough to hear what's going on, but completely ignored by Wanda, Pietro, everyone. I think it was Doctor Strange. I could totally hear that. I still think, and I got this idea from Brad, I think he's in there and I think he's watching. I think he's been in there the whole time. And I don't think he wants to show his face until he does realize, like you said, Matt, she's losing control. She's expanding the hex. And I think that's what's going to take him out of hiding. And I really hope to see him next episode. That's what I'm hoping. Doctor Strange next episode. Let's go.
I'm down for that.
I'm down for that too.
Let's go. All right. Any final thoughts on WandaVision before we keep it rolling?
I'm excited.
I'm ready.
Just keep watching.
Now is when it's game time. You know what I'm saying? We're past all right, here's the sitcom kind of thing. Well, here's Evan Peters as quick. We're past all of the buildup.
Yeah.
It's game time.
It's game time.
Let's
Very
go.
Exciting. Awesome. All right. Let's throw it over to DC. They get their time in the sun. Finally. I know ever since I've gotten here, we've been very Marvel happy. So let's just go in on the new Zack Snyder content. We have Supes is over here stretching and warming up, you guys, just so you know, he is ready to go. I am going to give the floor to you guys and ask that you give me a full rundown of this trailer. And I will ask questions as we go. As a casual DC and Justice League movie viewer, I'm going to ask the questions that maybe need more explanation from my end. So who wants to start?
Brad, I'll let
Just
you go
give it to
first.
Matt.
All right.
No, Brad, I'll let you go first.
Trailer breakdown. What did you think?
I need to gather my thoughts.
I thought it was great. I think all the new shots obviously are what we wanted. Enough of a tease, but also brand new, and very much in Zack Snyder's eye, if you will. He's very on brand with this. It looks like a 4-hour experience. So, having said that, I'm excited. I think it looks great. The action looks great. The set pieces, just the everything about it looks very grand. So, yeah, I'm excited. I think it's going to be a heck of an experience, and that Jared Leto bit at the end has me very excited because I'm a big Joker fan.
Is that like is that the thing that stands out the most for you?
The Leto?
Yeah.
No, I
In
mean
the trailer.
all the new stuff stands out to me. Obviously, it's just tonally different from the first one.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. I want to watch it. I hope it's good. I pray it's good, for multiple reasons. But I still have that thought in the back of my head, like this could be the greatest movie ever, but we're never going to see anything after it because that's not what it is.
Do you truly believe that even if it does really, really, really well, we're not going to get anything?
As of right now, unless they're playing the PR game, they've made it very clear that Zach's done. They're done. Like they're doing other new things now. So that could change, of course, if this is the greatest movie of all time. But it's just unfortunate that we're in this situation to begin with. So that's always going to be in the back of my head. I'm still going to enjoy it. I'm going to embrace it fully. Lord knows I'd much rather watch this than the other one. So I'm excited to dive into the 4-hour experience. Supes and I have talked about having a halftime.
Yeah, no, seriously.
To break it up.
An intermission.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my gosh. I just found out, this is funny, this morning, I just found out that my fiance has not seen Justice League. So I have to go watch that this week.
No. Don't watch it, Janell. No. What do you mean?
I mean,
that is the greatest gift. That's the greatest gift he could ever have. Not watching that movie.
No, have him watch BVS and then just go straight into
Snyder
Cut.
Man of Steel, BVS, and then
All right, I'm gonna say you guys said so I'm gonna take it. All right, Matt, you're very excited. Just lay it on us. I know you have so many things you want to talk about.
First of all, I gotta get in the proper attire.
Oh, we're having a reveal. Supes has revealed himself as Superman. Let's go.
I gotta get in the proper attire.
He's ready.
Because my boy is back. Superman is back, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
First of all, what a trailer. What a trailer. And for me, watching this trailer, it was such an emotional experience. Not because of what I was watching, but because of the story behind all this, right? The story behind this movie. The fact that this is a project that it has solely come to light because of the fans begging and praying to the freaking gods that Warner Brothers would give Zack Snyder the power to bring his vision to light. And now to see this, to see that this is a real thing, to see that it's done, and to know that we're a couple of weeks out from watching this 4-hour banger on HBO Max. Oh my God. It was beautiful, man. And you guys know I am a diehard Superman fan. This is my favorite character of all time. I think it's the greatest character. He's the greatest character of all time. And I wouldn't be here if it weren't for this character. So to see just the little things, the little shots, seeing Superman in the black suit, recreating that first flight sequence from Man of Steel. I just know that scene is going to put me out. Just that scene alone just gets me lightheaded. But and then hearing in the trailer, Jonathan Kent's voice talking about Superman. I just know Zack Snyder is the guy who started this whole universe. He started this with Man of Steel. And I know that going into this movie, this trailer gave me all the certainty I needed that he's going to do these characters justice. For me, looking back at the abomination that we got in 2017, my biggest gripe with that movie is that it didn't do the characters justice. The greatest characters of all time we're talking about here. Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman, Flash, Aquaman, Cyborg. These are the greatest characters of all time. And that film failed to do them justice. But after watching this trailer, I have no doubt in my mind that Zack Snyder is going to deliver us a 4-hour banger. And then on top of that, hello, we live in a society like...
Yes, I was actually I have that in my missable details in questions. So for anyone who doesn't understand why the internet is blowing up over this Joker, it's a Jared Leto Joker quote. He says a line about society, and can you guys give me the rundown of why this is such a big moment?
So after watching the Joker movie that came out in 2019 with Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, you know, in the best part of that movie, which was the scene with Murray during the talk show, he mentions society. Like, what do you get when you have a society that treats this person like trash? And then that kind of became a meme on the internet.
Yes.
So now to hear Jared Leto kind of like address that and literally say the line, like, we live in a society. Like, it was the biggest troll move. I give Zack Snyder props 1000% because he could have put any line from Jared Leto's Joker from this movie, but he threw in the line that is going to get the most memes, the most social media interactions. And this thing was the term "we live in a society" was trending #1 on Twitter for a couple of hours. Yep. So props to Zack because he is just on ultimate troll mode, and right now the internet is going ham.
To put that in the trailer and not just the movie, like that's smart. That is very, very smart. Yeah. Okay, so what kind of differences can we expect between the original? I just have to say, getting into the comment section, we have a lot of very excited people about this movie.
Yeah,
very, very excited. But there are also people who are not, which is fine. This is the world we live in. And most of those complaints are people going, it's the same thing. They're just putting a couple scenes in. Like, they're not going to make
it's 4 hours long.
Different. I know. So how can you kind of win over those people, or at least like comfort the ones that are like me? I read the comment section. I'm like, oh no, my excitement. Like, maybe I shouldn't be excited. Maybe it is going to be just like the movie. What can you say to those people that are curious?
This is what I'm going to say. This is the best way to compare these two versions of the film. Let's say you have two cakes that are both vanilla flavored. Yeah. One is a $1 cake that you got from the back of an alleyway down the street next to your house. Yeah, $1 vanilla cake at Walmart. And then the other one is an $1,000 vanilla cake baked by the greatest bakers on the freaking face of the planet. They're both the same flavor, but one is just way better than the other.
That's brilliant.
That's exactly what this is.
That is brilliant. What a great comparison. That's so good. Oh, wow.
Look, at the end of the day, like anything, watch it, experience it for yourself, and make your own opinion. Period. Yes. That's it.
Period.
Yeah.
Exactly. This is 4 hours, guys. Zack literally said that we've only seen from the footage. He's using only 25% of the footage that we saw in the first Justice League movie, which means that we're getting 75% new footage. Yeah. And everything we've seen looks great. I don't see no CGI mustaches. Everything I'm seeing looks freaking amazing. We see Darkseid, we see Joker, we see Henry Cavill in that black suit dripping. Yeah. And that's
my one thing about Joker, and I'm gonna say this about Deathstroke too. I hope it's not all in the nightmare sequence.
Same. Yes.
I think all of it seems to be in the nightmare sequence.
Yeah.
All of it. Like,
and
the first Joker shot and this one. And I'm just like, oh, come on.
Yeah, and that's super interesting because we didn't get any nightmare scenes in the first Justice League movie. So like, what is going to be the running storyline now that they're continuing the nightmare plot? And in that same nightmare shot, you could also see Cyborg behind Batman. So there's obviously going to be like a disassembled Justice League team that's kind of teaming up with Joker. I don't know, but for me, this is history right here with this single trailer, like seeing Joker and Batman interact and talk to each other. With that one line that Jared Leto delivered to Ben Affleck's Batman, you could kind of just like feel the history.
It almost feels like
characters.
He mocks Batman when he says Batman. It sounds like he's like trying to sound a little deeper, kind of how Batman speaks like that. It's pretty funny.
Like there's so much history between these two characters, and you felt that with the delivery of that line.
Yeah. It's really exciting. As a casual viewer of Justice League, I will say that I can't even remember the initial film at this point. I've
Good.
watched so many
God
of
bless.
these Zack Snyder trailers and teasers, and I've talked about it so much recently that I truly don't remember a lot, and I'm kind of glad because I feel like it's going to give me more of a clean slate. And yeah, I'm really excited. But I thought they did a great job, and it's kind of like the same story with Hawkeye, or sorry, Hawkeye, with Falcon Winter Soldier. I wasn't like most excited about it. Of course, I love it. It's superhero content. It's stuff that it's my wheelhouse, but it wasn't like the top for me. And then I saw the trailer and I went, okay, let me just zip it. I'm pumped.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel
Yeah.
about this trailer. I am pumped now.
And for me, it feels more sweet, right? Because like with Marvel content, we haven't seen any footage from like all of the upcoming Marvel projects, but we
Right.
know they're going to be amazing because of Marvel's track record and their system for success. When it comes to DC stuff, you know, there's a lot of uncertainty in the fandom with their projects.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of projects that they have that are hit or miss, that are very controversial, but this trailer gave me certainty. It gave me certainty that this is something that's not what we got in the past. This is going to be something special. And I'm looking forward to that. And that's something that DC fans crave, right? We crave certainty. That's why, you know, I get so emotional when I look forward to something like this because I don't know the future of Henry Cavill's Superman.
Right.
It would be a blessing if we get to see the man play the character another time after this. So the fact that this could potentially be the final time that we see this man play this great character, then this is the, you know, this is a final hurrah. This is the final hurrah for us Superman fans, for some of us DC fans, and snap, it is what it is, but we're gonna embrace it and take it as it is, because this has been Zack Snyder's vision from the beginning. And of course he's had other films planned, but he's crafted this to be the conclusion to his story. So I'm excited to see what he has in store.
Absolutely. For people who are kind of trying to decide how they're going to consume it, how long they're going to watch it for, are they going to watch it in installments? Or are they going to watch it all at once? Do they want to bring their kids on it? You know, regardless of the rating. I see a lot of people in the comments, they're saying, you know, DC's for the grownups and Marvel's for the kids. And I just want to say, all of it's for everyone. I truly think that if I had kids, I'd probably let them watch this with me. I'm just going to be really honest. So I'm very interested to hear what our listeners are thinking. Reach out to us. We want to engage, especially about these WandaVision episodes, especially about this trailer. Like, we are pumped with you. And yeah, I'm excited. Woohoo.
Yeah. And you know, when it comes to the Snyder Cut, this is going to be our first live watch party for a movie. So if you aren't watching this film with us at 3 a.m, what are you doing? Brad and I are both going to be here. It's probably going to be around like a 7-hour live stream, because we'll probably get on and talk about it for an hour, watch the movie. It's 4 hours long, and then we'll stay on talking about it some more. So if you aren't watching this movie with us at 3 a.m. like we do these WandaVision episodes, what are you doing?
Also, can we please get the execs over at Disney Plus and beyond to start releasing things at a normal time so we can all enjoy them together? That's the one thing I want. If there is any powers that be listening to us, please take one note from cable.
Hey, I'm all for watching it at 9 p.m. if they want to bump it up. So it's midnight for you guys.
Please,
cool
that would be fantastic. If we could just release everything at like, I don't know, 5 p.m. your time, that would be fantastic.
That's funny.
For real. My Friday sleep schedule has gotten so disjointed. My Fridays have turned into like 2 days. Because I wake up at like 1 a.m. to like start doing live streams with Brad. We watch WandaVision. I'll be up till like 7 a.m. Then I'll go back to sleep. And then when I wake up, it's still the same day. And then I still have to make videos and edit videos. So it's just Fridays have become something
Fridays
else.
I wake up and I immediately turn on the TV. It was my very first TikTok I made. I was like, this is what happens every Friday for me. I wake up, I grab my glasses, I grab the remote, and I turn on WandaVision, because no spoilers, please. I don't want the spoilers.
Yeah,
so
guys. And now that we're heading into these final 3 episodes, please do not hop on social media if you haven't seen the episodes. I am telling you right now, that is your biggest mistake if you don't watch these episodes and you're hopping on social media. So
awesome.
with that being said, guys, make sure to engage with all of the content from today's episode in the comment sections over here on YouTube, in the content over on TikTok, and make sure to check out both Janell and Brad. Check out all of their social medias. Go drop them a follow. They're pretty dope people.
Hey,
so go check them out. With that being said, thank you guys for tuning in. We love you guys 3000, and we'll see you guys next time.